As the Scottish Socialist Party continues to campaign on the streets for taxation of the rich and big business being taken into public ownership, we see the by-elections take place, including in Makerfield, Greater Manchester. Now this has got great significance because it could potentially mean a new Labour leader, a new Prime Minister. Andy Burnham is standing that by-election in order to challenge Starmer as leader of the Labour Party and therefore Prime Minister. And I think there needs to be a health warning issued. Beware of Burnham fakery. Beware of fake radicalism. People who are sickened by the record of Starmer in office obviously are desperate for some kind of change. But this, frankly, could turn out to be changing the captain of the Titanic. Because what will it mean in practice? Andy Burnham is somebody who is very used to changing and blowing with the wind. He initially had a stint of a career as an advisor to an extreme right-wing Labour MP, Tessa Jowell. He then was elected as an MP himself in 2001 under the leadership of Tony Blair. He became a Labour minister in a couple of different departments, including a stint in health. During that, he never raised his voice of opposition to the massive privatisation of the health service under Blair and Brown's PFI schemes, which has sold off hospitals to big business consortia, which means that the future is mortgaged on those, and where we have to pay through the nose, usually at least £5, sometimes £8 or £9 for every £1 borrowed. Andy Burnham, when he was standing to become leader of the Labour Party twice, in 2010 and 2015, on one occasion said that as Prime Minister, his first place that he would visit would be Israel. He described the infamous Balfour Declaration of 1917 as British values in action. That was a document that did typical British imperialist divide and conquer tactics of promising a new homeland to the Zionists and promising a new empire to leaders of the Arab population. He also was somebody who abstained when it came to Tory measures of welfare cuts instead of stand up for the most vulnerable. He's a man who refused to condemn the genocide in Gaza and still refuses to call it a genocide. He was a prominent member of the Labour Friends of Israel, almost one of their poster boys, and it was only later on when public opinion swung decisively against the Israeli terror state that he began to express some concerns and to call for a ceasefire before Starmer did. Of course, he's gained some popularity as Mayor of Greater Manchester, particularly for his stance on public transport. But it wouldn't be hard. It was absolute chaos because there was 30 different private companies competing. And when he brought in what's called the B network, that established some degree of control and supervision of public transport, but it does not mean public ownership. It's franchises to the likes of Stagecoach and First Group. Andy Burnham gave the appearance of being in favour of public ownership of water, which of course has been privatised for years in England, for decades actually, and has caused mayhem and sewage being running through the rivers and eye-watering levels of income for the chief executives. But he's not in favour of public ownership of water even. He's talked about stronger public control, whatever that means. Actually, that's already meant to be in position, where Ofwat is supposed to do that already. So in essence, Andy Burnham is a man who swings and blows with the wind. He's a reminder of the fact that in politics there's two fundamental types. There's signposts and weather vanes. There's people with firm principles who point the way forward, like the Scottish Socialist Party. Beware of false prophets in the form of false radicalism for Andy Burnham. He's another Labour captain of the ship Titanic, and we shouldn't have any illusions on that. We need a socialist alternative, not a new poster boy in charge of a Labour Party that's completely deserted and abandoned and betrayed the working class.